Hi peeps, it's 12:27 on Friday, December 28th. As you know, I've been kind of stirred up about climate change, as you all should be. Right now, the CO2 level is 409 parts per million, and humans have never existed above 300 parts per million. Most scientists say that 350 parts per million is doable for humans. However, it is not a good way to live your life when you're under that sort of stress. So at 409 parts per million plus the methane amount is way out of control for human survival. So what am I doing about it? Well, I am not a public speaker. I'm not one to stand out in a crowd except for running, which I don't mind doing that. I actually enjoy that. But speaking in public is not my thing. However, with kids around and young adults and college kids and people who should be able to live a long and healthy life, the present situation is not a good one. Many scientists that I believe in and follow state that once the Arctic sea ice goes, within 2 years, probably by 2021 at the latest, you're going to have a blue water event. And at that time, the water heats up exponentially, because just like at a dinner party, when you have ice in your glass and then ice melts, the temperature of your liquid that you're drinking goes up. So right now it's at 32 degrees or less, somewhere in there, the Arctic sea ice. The problem is that the Arctic is the controlling factor for the jet stream, which is why we are no longer seeing massive blows from the north like we used to get when I was a kid. So most largely the jet stream is not moving. We have dead air around here. It rains for days on end, or it's droughty or whatever. So that's the one issue about the Arctic. The other main issue is the methane under the shallow seas, which are 50 meters or less, 150 feet, around northern Russia. Presently, the sea ice there is very thin and broken. The sea ice in the entire Arctic is mostly 2 years or less. There is no more fast ice up there. It is short-term ice, and what will happen is it melts the thin layers over the Siberian northern Russia area of the Russian seas contain massive amounts of methane. Okay, methane clathrates. They're encased in methane's encased in ice below the sea surface. Well, once the Arctic heats up, all this methane escapes. Presently, if the methane expansion amount is 150 to 1. So if you have a little thimbleful of methane, it expands to the size of your head or bigger. Methane is a greenhouse gas that is 160 times more potent than CO2. So if there's a burp of methane, we're in deep trouble as a people, and within 6 months the temperature will spike exponentially and we'll be hard pressed to survive. The problem is that humans are clever and they think they're smart, and they are. They can put on jackets or turn on air conditioning. However, your crops are not smart, so they will fade away. And what happens is when you have a spike in temperature or drought or rainy situations like we're having here all the time in Pennsylvania, is that crops don't grow. Okay, so if you don't have crops, you don't eat. If you don't eat, there's mass starvation. If there's mass starvation, people die and or migrate to other areas. So this border wall bullshit is gonna it's gonna pale compared to what is actually happening. You're gonna have Americans going to Canada. And the joke is Canadians only need a 3-foot wall along their border because Americans are so out of shape that they won't be able to get over a 3-foot wall, which is kind of sick. So anyways, what am I doing? I am going up to the square at Gettysburg with 2 placards that's stating about climate change in the rain. This is going to be my attempt to do this every Friday if I'm at all possible to do this. I'll do it in the morning or afternoon or when I'm free. There's a girl over in Sweden that's doing this. She's 15 years old. She's inspiring people around the world. Her name is Greta Thunberg. And if she can do it every Friday, I think the adults have the obligation to do it. Presently, the Paris Accords, Paris Agreement, and this most recent COP24 agreement in Poland is a bunch of crap, because all they're doing is kicking the can down the road, saying by 2030 we need to do this, or 2020, or 2035, or 2050, or whatever. It's accomplishing nothing. There is no freaking out yet. There is no hysteria, and there needs to be at this point. It needs to be controlled hysteria to get things done properly. Okay, so we need directed effort to get things done, put pressure on our government and our neighbors to start talking about it. In Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, it is a huge taboo to talk about climate change. I can't get a conversation going with anyone other than my wife. I don't understand it. People aren't getting it. I think the people are smart that I talk to, and yet they're very timid about talking about it. Oh, we don't want to talk about it. And they walk away or just shut down altogether. There's no conversation. It is really, really sad to watch. So anyways, I'm going to stick my neck out, look like an ass, and I don't care at this point because we need to get our program together and start rallying. If you got kids, your kids aren't going to make it past the next 10 years. Okay? Are you getting this? So it is very scary what's happening. We need to get going on this. We can't, every minute goes by, it's going to take 10 minutes to recover from it. So we've wasted decades and decades and decades. So I'm imploring you to make your own little rally, whether it's in your house or outside or whatever you need to do. Start posting things. Stop posting bullshit because we are in the middle of World War III. I am sorry, but this is the way it is. You have to identify a problem, and then in order to tackle it, first there's identification. Then you need to talk about it. Then we need to come up with a plan. Then we need to do something about it. This has become absolutely out of control and ridiculous, and within the next 2 years the Arctic sea ice melts and we're going to have trouble surviving past 2026. So I'm going up on the square, walk around with a placard on, and hopefully some people will get the message, and the people that don't, well, that's too bad. So talk to you in a little bit. It is 12:34. That's my longest speech ever. See ya.